We are thankful to the jurors in the District of Middle Tennessee who saw the facts for what they were. We think in our office and the Department of Justice believes that elected leaders and their staffs should perform honest services for the citizens that they serve. That was why we brought this prosecution. That's what the evidence showed had not happened, and that's why we feel vindicated today by the jury's verdict. This was an important case both for our office, for the Department of Justice, and for Tennesseans who have come to depend on the honest services of their legislators and the staffs. And so we again want to thank the jury for their verdict. I can take a couple of questions, but I wanted to make sure that we made that statement and recognize the exceptional work of the prosecution team, both in our office and in the public integrity section of the Department of Justice. These cases do not happen overnight. They don't happen in a vacuum. They take hours and hours of long and hard work. These gentlemen and the paralegals and the other agents and staff members who supported them, this victory belongs to them as it belongs to the people of the state of Tennessee.
Speaking of long periods of time, as the jury went into its fourth day and there were several questions, was there ever any concern that this case might not return guilty verdicts?
Well, you have to remember, it was a long trial. I mean, it was a multi-week trial, and there were a lot of counts. There are a lot of things for the jurors to sort through. So having a longer deliberation in these kinds of cases, serious allegations, a trial that lasted a long time, that's pretty standard. I think we knew that they were going to take their responsibilities very seriously, and were going to take whatever time they needed to get the result that they reached.
Were you surprised the defense called no witnesses?
I mean, I think, as trial lawyers, you're always prepared for whatever eventuality occurs. The defense strategy is up to them. We were more concerned with proving our case. We were more concerned with putting the witnesses that we believe would establish the violations that are alleged in the indictment, and that's what we did.
What went behind the decision not to call Speaker Camden Sexton to the stand?
I mean, I think every trial has its own strategy, and the strategies that we employ in one case may not carry over to another case. Ultimately, we put on the witnesses and the evidence that we thought was necessary to prove our case beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's what happened.
How do you feel like Representative Robin Smith did in testifying, and will you advocate for a lesser sentence for her?
I mean, I think what is most important is that the jury, by their verdict, found her to be a credible witness. They obviously listened very intently to her testimony, and what she described is what the jury found the defendants guilty of doing, which is defrauding the people of the state of Tennessee. In terms of how the sentences are going to shake out, obviously that is something that's going to be up to Judge Richardson, and I don't think we've started to think about what recommendations we're going to make. Those sentencings will happen at a later time.
Do you have any sense of how much this trial cost the country?
I mean, what I would say is that anytime there is fraud committed by elected officials, we just have to do what it takes to find the truth and to hold those who commit those crimes accountable. I mean, I think it's a matter of, can we afford not to hold elected leaders accountable when they commit fraud? All right, thank you all very much. Gentlemen, you guys got anything you want to?
No, sir.
You want to say?
I would just to say, to make it explicit, that we very much appreciate the many years of effort that the Federal Bureau of Investigations put into this case, the tremendous work that the agents and forensic accountants and others at the FBI did to bring us to where we are today. Thank you.
The voucher thing came up a few times, and it seemed like nobody wanted to talk about that. Was the voucher issue at the root of any of this? Was it tied to any of this?
No, I mean, I think what you saw in court was the evidence that we intended to present. This was just an opportunistic group of individuals who had unparalleled access to people, and they tried to take advantage of it, and we hold them accountable. So they'll obviously still be under the same conditions they were on release before the trial. We would expect them to follow those conditions, and then obviously the court can amend those conditions if the court thinks it's appropriate. I mean, I think it's the ones you would think of. Don't get into trouble. Go see your pretrial services officer, and don't do anything wrong. So I don't know that that's necessarily going to be at play. That's going to be something Judge Richardson would have to decide. Okay, thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you.
Maximum of 20
max
years.
of 20 years.
The highest counts of the 19 of which defendant Cochran was convicted, and of the 17 of which which defendant Castro was convicted.
So stat max of 20 years.
Could be consecutive.
It could be consecutive. All that'll be up to Judge Richardson at sentencing.
Why
Can
not
y'all
call
say on the
Hayden?
record why count 20 was dropped?
I mean, the jury found him not guilty.
Well,
in terms of the count 20? I mean,
Yeah.
I think, honestly, why we decided to make strategic decisions during the trial, or we're just going to leave those to be our strategic decisions.
Why not
You know?
call Hayden?
Again, same thing, right? We called all of the witnesses and put on all the evidence that we thought was necessary to prove our case beyond a reasonable doubt, and the jury agreed with the strategy that we took by finding the defendants guilty of the offenses that they found them guilty of.